One of the beautiful things about having a yoga practice is that it's portable. You don't need any special equipment. If you have a mat, that's great, but you can do this anywhere on any kind of surface, and using props, while they're lovely, aren't always necessary. In my practice today, I'm going to show you a quick clip of a few movements that I will flow between when I'm looking to build a little bit of strength. So the movements will create some suppleness in my spine, some strength for my shoulders, some mobility for hips and shoulders, and just concentration and focus. You can do this sequence as many times as you like, and you can hold the movements for as long as you like. Typically, when I'm doing a practice, I hold anywhere from 5 to 7 breaths, depending on my fatigue level, my ability to stay connected with the movement. And so this is where you can start to fine-tune your practice, your internal focus, and that ability to turn inward, to get to know yourself better and grow and expand for your own being so that you can be more present in the world that is surrounding you. So here's the movement, and I'll take you through it just a few times, and then you can take these movements and run with them in any place that you have the support of a wall or a tree or a building to use to give you something to press into. Come into a hands and knees position. And as you take a moment, you just kind of align yourself closely enough that your feet are almost touching the support that is behind you. Spread your fingers, grip the ground just a little bit. Give me some softness in your elbows. So the creases of your elbows face in. Tucking your toes, lift your hips up and back, and come into your variation of a downward dog. You'll stay here 3 to 8 breaths. Make sure that you can move your neck freely and that you're not feeling discomfort. Softness in your elbows helps you to pull your chest through. And after you stay those 5 or so breaths, walk your hands towards your feet. Come into a forward fold position. Bend your knees deeply here. Move your feet far enough away so that your hips come into contact with the wall. And then you're going to roll yourself up. And you're coming into a wall sit position. So you've got the support of the wall. Press your ribs back. Press your low back into the wall. Hands can stay on your thighs for support. The deeper you sink, the more work this is for your quads. The higher up you are, the less work. Keep your knees in line with your second and third toes. You can bring those hands back to give you a little more chest expansion, or you can bring your hands in front, or maybe even arms overhead, especially, you can see in my body some tightness in those shoulders. So again, anywhere between 3 to 8 breaths, and then you'll release hands down, step your feet closer. Come into your Tadasana. So if you can, heels touch. For a lot of us, our glutes get in the way. So if it makes you overextend those knees, feet come away, tailbone lengthen down, bottom rib touching. Palms face in, reach, bring the back of your head toward the wall. And again, don't lean back too much. So use the wall for some alignment cueing. Reach through your arms, take your gaze forward, and use your full breath here. Inhales and exhales, 3 to 5 breaths. If you're comfortable, close your eyes. And keep in mind, this is about alignment and connection. So front ribs are pulling down, your hips are pulling up. This is strong and engaged. Fingers are actively reaching. If you're rotating to the little toe or the big toe, get your weight even through your feet. And think about lifting from the back of your head up that wall. So once you've held that, you're going to move away from the wall. Inhaling, your arms reach up. Exhale, hinge, and walk out into your downward dog. So finding again, soft knees or straight legs, stay for a few breaths. From here, I'm going to bring my hands in a little bit closer, and you can play with this. Bring your feet onto the wall and begin to lift your hips. So you're using the wall for some support. If you want a little more, you can begin to straighten one leg overhead, but you need to be careful not to move into a back bend, and you work with as straight an arm as you can hold. You find the length. If you have a full handstand, you can place that foot up. And if you want to take a little switch, bring the other leg onto the wall. Once you're finished, lower your knees down and come into your child's pose. 3 to 5 breaths. Slow your heart rate, keep your breath moving, full inhales and exhales. I have one more pose for you in this sequence. On your inhale, you come back through your hands and knees. Downward dog is always an easy transition. So hips up and back, hands to feet, bend your knees, roll to stand, reach your arms up. Here's your last pose. Walk your feet away, keep lifting, reach your chest toward the ceiling. Press hips forward, start to lean back. If you can comfortably touch the wall, place your hands on the wall. Pressing your hips forward, fingers point down, arms as straight as you can take them, and you're gonna lower to a point that you can maintain and also be able to come back from. Again, you hold this for as long as you're comfortable with. When you restack, you come up through the core. Careful not to twist. Work for a few breaths and then come down to take your child's pose. Full inhales and exhales. Use this practice just as a starter to give you a little information and grow your practice. So we've got hands and knees to downward dog. Walk your hands to your feet, come up through standing Tadasana. Move into a wall sit. From your wall sit, back through that downward dog into handstand or variation, or hold your dog. Rest in child's pose when you need it. Come back through your downward dog and then work your way rolling to stand into your back bend. Moving back and forth between these, experiment with which direction you go first, and make sure you don't go to a point of fatigue with this. Give it a try, let me know how your practice goes. Let me know what you notice, what works well, where you could use a little bit of strength and support, and let me know if you need any pointers.